Hey guys, so a lot of people have been showing interest in my tiny house and wanting to know all of the details. So I'm going to tell you exactly how much this costs, my down payment, the monthly payments, the cost to set everything up before even getting the tiny house. So if you're interested in those details, this video is for you. If you're new here, hi, my name is Annie and I just got this tiny house in February. So I got this from Tiny Mountain Houses, which is located in the state of Oregon. I'm in Washington. It was only a few hours away. And Tiny Mountain Houses, they do custom builds. So typically you would go in and place your order and customize it. So the prices can vary. However, when I went in there, they actually had this one. Someone had ordered it and they canceled their order along the way. So it was almost all the way ready. So I did not customize this myself, but I really wanted one pretty much then and there and didn't want to wait 6 months or however long it takes for the build to be complete. I will say, if you are interested in a tiny house, I do recommend Tiny Mountain Houses. Like, look how unique this build is. I love the spiral staircase and so many things about this place. Very high quality. So if you do want to purchase a tiny house from Tiny Mountain Houses, if you tell them that you heard about them from Annie, they will give you $500 off the top of your order. Not sponsored, that's just something that they do with all of their customers. I'll put their information down below, and they do have a few others that are also built out and available to purchase ASAP. But let's get into the pricing. So I'm going to be completely honest and transparent about everything. I have my tiny house on my parents' property. I originally wanted it up on their property, like far away from their house, but it turns out that if I were to do that, the setup would have been like a minimum of $20,000 since there's no power out there, and they would have had to drill a brand new well and, you know, again, run electricity and water and all of that. So instead, my dad was like, hey, if you'll put it down here by the house, at least for a little while, I'll pay for the setup cost. So my dad, thank you, Dad, this is the only part of the purchase that his money went into, and he paid about $5,000 to get everything set up. But I'm like, if you're gonna be so kind and offer that, then I'm going to take you up on that. So the expenses for that were, first they had to get a tractor and flatten the yard and lay gravel. I believe they called it a pad. It's what this tiny house is on top of. They also had to dig into the yard so that they could connect to their septic. He also had to have someone put in a water and sewer hookup. And luckily my brother and nephew are electricians, so they hooked us up with the correct power outlet so that we could power this thing. Everything else I have paid for. Again, depending on your situation, if you have somewhere to put it, if it already has a septic, or if you have to dig a septic, if you have to buy land, that's a whole thing. If you want to go to a tiny home park, they do have locations where they're tiny house parks where they have lots and you have the hookups and everything, and it's all designated like a community for tiny homes. So usually with that, it's like a monthly fee rent to rent the space. So just keep in mind, everyone's setup fees will be different. Now for the price of the tiny house. So this tiny house originally ran at $136,000, and that's with these specific customizations. However, my dad did negotiate for me and knocked it down to $132,000, so that's $4,000 off. However, my dad owns a car dealership and was basically like, hey, if you can take a little bit off, you'll get the family discount for life if you ever need a vehicle from us. So he kind of helped me out with that as well. So yes, it was $132,000. However, that was without tax. So the tax plus delivery fee actually put it up to $142,000. $142,000 was the actual total. And I know some people are like, what? That's insane. I thought it would be like 80 grand or less. People can build their own tiny houses for less, but for me, I find that having a professional do it and having a warranty on it is needed. Like, we actually looked online for used ones and the majority were self-built and they didn't have warranty. So if anything went wrong, you're kind of just screwed. And also if you want to finance it, typically a bank's not just gonna finance that. There's no title on it either. So that's a good reason to go with the professional. And so yeah, again, I got it financed. I put $10,000 down for the down payment, and my monthly payments are, I wrote it down, hold on, I don't want to mess this up. And my monthly payments are $1,476, $1,476. And I believe those payments with the financing that we did, it's a 10-year span. The interest rates are high right now, so the monthly payments with lower rates would obviously be lower. So we're planning to refinance once the rates go down. I will say I was paying $2,300 for a studio apartment in Los Angeles. And yes, it was a luxury apartment building with the pool and the movie theater room and like all the cool things. And I still loved it. It was totally worth it. But I was paying that much for 3 years, which added up to almost $90,000 that are just gone. That's just in my past. But at least with these payments, I own this. My hope and plan is to pay this off way before the 10-year mark. And I don't plan on living in this for 10 years at all. 2 to 3 years is kind of my plan to live in this, and then I can turn it into an Airbnb. So that will also help pay it off in the long run. And again, I own it and it has a warranty and I can move it wherever I want. Like if I want to go back down to California and get a little plot of land, I could do that if I wanted. Or I could get a house anywhere and have this as a guest house. There's so many options. I don't know, to me, under $1,500 to have this space, which is way less than a lot of people pay for rent, and I get to own it, I'm into it. But I know that everyone has their own opinions, and some people are gonna be like, back in my day, I could get a mansion for that price. Well, it's not in your day anymore. It is in a very different day. Are there any other costs that I can think of? Oh, other than that, so the hot water and the stove, because it's a gas stove, run off of propane. So I have these little propane tanks. They're just the 5 pound, 5 gallon? 5 pound or 5 gallon propane tanks, and one lasts me about a month to go through, and I have a couple backups, and I think it's either around or under $10 to fill up. So that is the monthly price for the gas. I also had to purchase a special drinking water quality hose, but that was like 20 bucks. And then of course, furnishing the place. I didn't have any furniture here because everything that I had was down in California, is still down in California in storage. So I had to get everything new, and I don't know the total cost for all of that, but it's several thousand so far. And I'm still working to get little pieces, mostly just decor and whatnot, but so yeah, it was kind of a lot up front, but not a lot compared to what it costs to purchase a full-size house with the down payment and the furniture and all of the things. I paid somewhere around probably $13,000 to $15,000 tops, and then my dad paid the $5,000 to get the things set up. I hope that answered some of your questions. If there's anything else that still comes up, leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer. If you have any tiny house questions or video requests in general, please let me know. Oh, and also again, Tiny Mountain Houses is where I got it from. I'll put their contact below. Make sure you ask for Lou and let them know that you heard about them from Annie, and you can get $500 off the top of your purchase. Oh, and when I was there, there was a used one that was a few years old, has a warranty on it, and it was closer to the $100,000 range. So if that's still there, I really love that one. But that is all. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you soon. All right, bye guys.